The isolation chamber hummed with the sterile efficiency that defined imperial architecture. Ilara pressed her palm against the reinforced glass, watching the twin moons of Cathara rise over the sprawling military complex. 47 days. That's how long she'd been confined to these 16 square meters, deemed too dangerous for contact with the native population. The Galactic Empire had been clear. Humans were unpredictable, their emotional volatility, their irrational attachment to lesser species, their stubborn refusal to follow protocol. All of it made them a contamination risk. When Ilara had saved those Ketharan cubs from the collapse during the supply depot incident, she hadn't thought about regulations. She'd simply acted. Now, she paid the price. A soft scratching sound drew her attention to the door. Ilara's heart clenched. She knew that sound. "Vren," she whispered, though the cub couldn't possibly hear her through the soundproofed barrier. "You need to go home." The scratching continued. 3 short scrapes, 2 long ones. The same pattern every night for 47 nights. Ilara sank to the floor, mirroring where she knew the small Ketharan sat on the other side. The species resembled Earth's red pandas, with luminescent fur that shifted colors with their emotions. She'd seen Vren's coat flash brilliant gold with joy, deep blue with sadness, and once memorably fierce crimson with determination. Commander Zekthor had been furious when he discovered Ilara had learned the cub's language during her 3 months stationed on Cathara. "Fraternization with primitive species is forbidden," he'd growled, his mandibles clicking with displeasure. "You were here to oversee supply lines, not play nursemaid to animals." "They're not animals," Ilara had replied quietly. "They're people." That had earned her isolation pending deportation. The Empire didn't tolerate dissent, especially not from humans who were barely tolerated themselves. Humanity had only joined the galactic community 15 years ago, and the older species still viewed them as dangerous newcomers, too emotional, too attached, too human. Through the door's external monitor, Ilara watched Vren settle into his nightly vigil. 6 other cubs joined him, their small bodies huddled together for warmth as Cathara's cold night descended. Lyra, Tom, Kessie, Pral, Shin, and little Miko, all 7 cubs she'd pulled from the rubble. All 7 who'd been attending the Youth Education Center when the structural supports failed. The Empire's official report blamed the cubs for being in a restricted area. Ilara knew the truth. Budget cuts had led to deferred maintenance, but no one cared about the truth when it was easier to blame victims. A chime announced a visitor. Ilara looked up to see Administrator Yilseth, the Ketharan official who managed civilian relations. Her fur was a muted gray, the color of resignation. "Officer Ilara," Yilseth began, her translator rendering the melodic Ketharan language into flat standard. "I must ask you to order the cubs away. They are disrupting patrol routes." "I have no contact with them," Ilara said carefully. "The Empire made sure of that. They wait because of you. They believe you will emerge. Then they believe in something the Empire doesn't want them to have." Ilara met the administrator's eyes. Hope. Yilseth's fur flickered yellow. Surprise. "You understand more than we gave you credit for. I understand that your people have been part of the Empire for 200 years, and in that time, you've learned not to expect compassion from it. Those cubs haven't learned that lesson yet." The administrator was quiet for a long moment. "Commander Zekthor wants to forcibly remove them. He says their presence is a security concern." Ice filled Ilara's veins. "They're children. They are obstacles to Imperial efficiency." Ilara stood, her hands curling into fists. Every instinct screamed at her to fight, to rage against the injustice. But she'd learned something in 47 days of isolation. Sometimes the most human thing you could do was be strategic. "Tell the commander I'll speak to them. One broadcast through the speaker system. I'll tell them to go home." Yilseth's fur shifted to pale blue, sadness mixed with relief. "Thank you." After the administrator left, Ilara waited until the evening patrol passed. Then she activated the external speaker, her voice carrying into the cold night where 7 small shapes huddled. "Vren." she said softly, and watched the cub's ears perk up. I know you're there, all of you. I know you've been waiting. 7 small faces turned toward the door, their fur brightening with hope. The Empire wants you gone. They don't understand why you come here every night. They don't understand loyalty that isn't mandated by law, or friendship that crosses species boundaries. Ilara's voice cracked. They don't understand humans, and they don't understand you. Vren's fur flashed crimson, that fierce determination she'd seen before. But I do, Ilara continued. I understand that you wait because someone showed you that not everyone in the Empire sees you as obstacles or animals or problems to be solved. Someone showed you that you matter. She pressed her hand against the door, wishing she could touch Vren's soft fur one more time. You need to go home. Not because the Empire demands it, but because you've already won. Every night you waited, you proved something the Empire doesn't want to acknowledge. That compassion is stronger than protocol, that loyalty can't be legislated away, and that sometimes the smallest acts of defiance mean everything. Vren stood, his small body silhouetted against the moonlight. Slowly, deliberately, he scratched the door 3 times, then twice more. I hear you. I understand. Then he turned and led the other cubs away, their fur glowing soft gold in the darkness. Ilara watched them go, tears streaming down her face. In the morning, she'd be deported to a human colony world. Her career with the Empire ended. But as she watched 7 small lights disappear into the night, she felt something the Empire could never quantify or control. She felt hope, and she knew that somewhere on Cathara, 7 cubs would tell their story, about the human who'd saved them, who'd taught them that kindness existed beyond the Empire's cold efficiency. That story would spread, whispered in the dark, passed from generation to generation. The Empire could isolate humans, could restrict contact, could try to contain the contamination of human emotion, but they couldn't stop what had already begun.